Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Insert Coin. He's Chris.
And he is Tim.
Thanks for joining us again. And today we're playing some more Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah!
As you can see.
No, wheeling off the dead.
Oh, they've all died.
Yes, Jessie. Although, isn't Jessie sat there?
Well, she's just a namesake, it's not the same Jessie who died earlier.
True.
Save the planet. That's kind of the thing is with this, I think I said in one of the other videos, that this group now really is Avalanche, aren't they?
Yeah.
In a sense. Because, I don't know, you join... This is a weird thing, because you join... Well, Dine's paying Zack as a mercenary, isn't he, to do those missions.
Yeah.
Jesse Biggs and Wedge die, and then they leave. It's like, oh, who should be in charge? Oh, I guess Zack can be in charge. It's like, but why does that decide?
Yeah, why wasn't he?
Oh, it's like, because he's the main character, he should be in charge.
Yeah.
Technically, Dine was in. Well, he's saying here, you know, he thinks Avalanche is born again. It's all kind of like coming back full circle to Avalanche. But then they're never really referred to as Avalanche, so I kind of like that bit. That, you know, he's saying, you know, we are the new Avalanche.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Because I think normally, like President Rufus, is just like, oh, Zack and his friends. I think it's like,
Dan's like, oh man,
but we're Avalanche. I'm totally the leader.
We made a name. Someone scored. It took me ages to write that on the wall together.
So we get like a lot of moments of this. You basically recap everything that's going on. You get a chance here to talk to all the different characters, and Evan sort of says what they're feeling at this point in time. There's different people who've got more reasons for being part of the group. Obviously, like Zack's wanting really to find out what's going on with Sephiroth because feels he's got a score to settle. Dine and Ares are kind of still going for the same reasons that they did Avalanche, to kind of go up against the Shinra.
Yeah, and try and just stop evil, kind of.
And then you've got Tifa trying to find out about her past and the fact that she's an ancient and everything.
But the thing is, we kind of rescued Tifa, so...
Yeah, and then she's just been along for the ride since, but she kind of wants to find out where it all goes. And she obviously has feelings for Zack and wants to follow him where he's going. But then you get some of the other characters have quite flaky reasons for joining. You go, like, oh, I've got nothing better to do, I'll just come along and help save the world. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, like Jessie. Oh,
yeah,
I have like a bunch of stuff I could steal.
Yeah, she's just
going to stick around.
The whole time she's just planning on stealing from us, isn't she? Still, it's a good team of people. You haven't really played many other Final Fantasy games, have you?
No, I played 13 a little bit, and that was pretty much it. But I felt I played it for like 8 hours, and then realised I was only like a tiny part way through the game. I was like, no.
I mean, I enjoyed 13, but I'm a really big Final Fantasy fan, so I was kind of looking into the Final Fantasy-esque elements of the game.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed, like, the battle system. I really enjoyed. It was really fast-paced, like the paradigm system. I really enjoyed that, but I can see why a lot of people didn't enjoy the game. I mean, unlike this, in Final Fantasy VII, you'll have a section where you're in a cave or something, getting in fights, leveling up your characters. You'll then stop, have some storyline. You'll then get an opportunity to go shopping and buy items and get new materia. You'll then get a little bit more storyline, then maybe another area, and then a big boss fight, and then more plot. And it's broken up really well, and it flows really well. Whereas in 13, you didn't have the stop and look around a town sections.
Yeah, there was no like stop to go buy all the weapons from the stuff you used to sell from the dungeon you just did and crap like that.
Yeah, there's nothing like that going on. It's literally just go from one location to another, getting in fights, and it's broken up by cutscenes only. And then you had the shops were just at the save points, weren't they? Like all online shops.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of like going around just talking to randoms and getting extra dialogue.
No.
There's nothing like that. So it's very, very linear game.
Plus there was that achievement which meant you had to have one of every item, like unique item, on you, or you had to have at least bought it.
Yeah, I think you need to have had at least every item once.
Yeah, so that screwed me over for a lot of the game. So I'm going through the shop for like 20 minutes going, do I have that? No, do I have that? Like,
really?
Yeah, there was like 20 different shops at the save point.
Surely you haven't got that then, because there's an item you only get by beating like the hardest creature in the entire game.
Oh no, I'm not sure. I'm in like 10% through the game.
Do you have plan on going back to it, or are you done with it?
I don't know. I'm probably done with it. I might try 13 too, but I heard it's slightly better. But I don't know. I'll probably just end up trying stuff like the 10 HD remake.
10's very good, actually. I really enjoyed 10. 10 again is very linear. It's a case of your the storyline on that is based around the summons. So you're basically going from one temple to another, praying to the faith and getting the summons.
Okay.
And it's really cool. I really like the storyline in it. I really like the characters. You get the main character Tidus is quite a cool character, and then you've got he befriends this guy Waka. Waka is probably my favourite character in that. And then you also get Orange, who's like this old soldier type guy. You play the intro to the game, and then you kind of like, I want to play the demo. The intro is really good. It's a really powerful intro. It kind of makes you really want to play it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really fun game, but in that it's literally let's go to this temple, now let's go to the next temple, now let's go to the next temple, now let's go to the next temple.
So is there like an overarching reason why you're going to?
Yeah. The idea is you want to be able to. The whole point of the game is they've got this big monster called Sin, and the only way to defeat Sin is with what they call the final Aeon. They're all the different summons called Aeons, and in order to summon the final Aeon, you need to have all the other Aeons.
Oh. Okay.
And the idea of the game is each time you go to a temple, you get a new summon. So you go to a temple, you do a puzzle or whatever, and then after you've done the temple section, you then get the option to use that summon.
Okay.
And it's quite cool the way the summons are done. It's a bit like Pokemon. So rather than like it just coming out and doing an attack, it comes out and it stays there, and then you can fight with it as if it's in your party.
Oh, that's cool.
But your party run away, and then the summon comes back in.
So it's a bit like 13 then. It's like.
Yes, in a way, but it's kind of like use them a lot more. They all have their own individual limit breaks.
Oh, okay.
As well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. You get things like Ifrit's in it again. I think Shiva's in it again. Bahamut's in it. Bahamut's really cool in it. And then there's some secret ones as well. So there's summons you get as part of the game, and then there's some bonus ones. If you do extra bits, you can get. There's some really cool ones.
That sounds shiny.
And the mini game in it, Blitzball, is awesome. I spent loads of time playing Blitzball. It's so good. It's basically like underwater football type thing. Right. And basically you can control the character like swim around the ball, but it's all stat based. So like when you throw a ball, it's like your throw value of 10, and then you throw the ball, then someone with like a catch value of 5 will knock it, and it goes down by 5. And then it needs to be at least 1 before the next person to actually be able to catch it. And if you had a throw value of 5 and the person had a catch value of 10, they would catch it, and then they'd be able to do something. They have like shoot value, catch value, and all these different things. And you get extra moves which boost things as well. And special skills, and it's just really addictive. I just played it. Thing is though, the only problem with Blitzball is a bit too easy. After the first game, you just win every single game. But it was really good fun because you level up your team, and you gain all these different abilities. You learn the abilities in game.
Okay. Yeah.
But then after that, like as you go around the world, you talk to people, and if you talk to people with X, you talk as normal. If you talk to people with Square, you find out if they're a Blitzball player, and you can ask them to join your team. So it's really good fun. It's definitely worth a play through. But yeah, that's very linear. It's just a case of going from one town to another until you've been everywhere, and then it's the end of the game. Yeah. But I think a lot of people complain about games being linear, but it's like, does that actually take much away from the gameplay if it's a good game? And you're going from level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, you're not actually exploring much. But then if you go too far the other way, like a lot of Zelda games, I often found I spent ages just wandering around trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go, and that's really annoying. So you can go too far the other way as well, I think.
Yeah. But one of the best things about adventure games like these is just like leveling up.
Yeah, grinding.
Exactly, grinding against monsters and dungeons. I mean, a similar thing to, I was going to say just like Diablo 3 or something like that. You're just, in the new loot patch, like Loot 2.0 I think they're calling it, there's just a load of grinding to be done. But once that feeling of, like, the item's dropped and you've got it, you're like, yes, I never have to do this place again. But it's more a sense of accomplishment than anything else.
Oh, shiny. Oh, added effect material. That's a very good piece of material. I'm just going to talk about that for a moment while we're at this point in the game. Added effect, unlike elemental, adds, rather than adding an element, it actually adds an effect. So there's different effects. That's probably where you get most of your effects from, I would say, is using that materia. Because the effect type stuff on its own, because it doesn't always work, a lot of the time you kind of feel like it's a wasted turn. For example, added effect and death. If it doesn't work, you're still hitting them.
Yeah.
If you cast death on stuff, it probably never works. If added effect and death is a case of hit them and you've got a slight chance they're just going to instantly die, that's a good one. And then you also have things like sleep and confuse all the different types of statuses you can apply to people have an added effect.
Could you put mini on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because remember they had that thing at one point in the battles. It's like you have mini and added effect, and you hit people, and you've got a slight chance that they're going to turn into a midget.
I think so. I remember.
Or a mini version.
Yeah.
Of themselves. Perhaps midget's an un-PC term I should have used in this podcast type thing.
Well, we're like episode 8, so.
Yeah. Oh, this bit's cool. You fight the spiders.
Those are treasure chests.
In fact, I remember doing this, but we just got mini. We just got added effect, and we had added effect to mini, and you're fighting the spiders, and they turn into tiny spiders. You're like, oh my god, it's a giant spider! Oh, it's a regular spider. Ah.
Yeah, it's not so scary now.
I think one thing in Final Fantasy X with levelling up, you level up as long as that character's done something, but you can swap out your party mid-fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can change from one
like
character to another during the fight.
System here, like the call system?
No, you're all together all the time.
Oh.
You don't split up.
Okay.
So you have 4 people rather than 3, I think, as well.
Mm.
It's been a while since I played it, I can't really remember. And I think that, say you've got 4 people in the party, as long as they've done a thing, and that includes like defend or steal or anything, they do something, and then you swap them out with someone else. So what you normally do is you have your weaker party in there, you can do like defend, swap them all out, and then do hit, and then kill whatever you're fighting. So as long as each character's done a thing, they get the experience points.
Would you lose a turn by swapping them out?
No. I think you swap them out and then they cast something.
Okay, that's cool. It's a lot of things, like either pet battles and WoW, like Pokemon and stuff. I think if you swap them out, that's counted as a turn.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, so I don't think it is.
Okay.
And the good thing as well is that you get so many points per player that did something, but it's not.
Right.
It's not like it's spread thinner if you have more people doing it. I think it's just like you get like 10 points to whoever has played.
Oh, okay.
And you make sure, so you always make sure everyone's done something.
Mm. Surely that would seem more like chorey. Like every battle, you're like, oh, I've got to get all these guys in.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it,
actually.
but I mean, what you can do is just like if you've neglected the character for a while, then just like start using them more afterwards. So it's worth doing because then everyone levels up regularly. Or even you have a party for one battle, and then for the next battle you swap them all out before the next fight starts.
Oh.
So it is a lot of swapping around, but it doesn't really take very long. But yeah, there is a bit of a chore, to be honest. But, I think there's certain points of the game.
Oh Jesus! I don't remember that.
Do you not?
No. What the fuck?
That's the weird boss fight with the guy with the 2 fire things. He's got the 2 fire things with him, and do you remember in the boss battle playthrough, you had elemental and fire, and you kept on shooting him and healing him?
Yes.
I was like, what are you doing?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to watch our boss battle playthroughs, they're on the main channel. Apparently we missed... Oh, gravity materia, that's pointless. No, I don't know, use gravity materia, it's awful. It's awful. That only affects a very small portion of enemies, and if it does, it only like quarters their life or something, and then like Demi 2 halves their life. Because like, it works so rarely, and at the point, the kind of creature that it does work on, you can probably one-shot anyway.
Yeah. What happens if it's one of those things where it's like such a shitty materia that they make it the best one in the game when you level it up?
Nah, I don't
Like
think so.
you level up to like 5 stars and it becomes like you destroy anything, like bosses go into space.
No, I never liked it. Didn't really use it. But I was gonna say that boss fight, I can't remember what it's called now. Do you know what I mean? The big like ghost thing.
Yeah, I know.
We missed a trick on that when we played. Apparently, you can kill it by just casting a phoenix down.
Really?
Yes, undead. Apparently, if you cast Phoenix down on it, it just dies instantly.
What, on it?
Yeah,
Not-
just cast Phoenix down on it and it dies.
Oh my god.
I didn't know that happened in this game. There are bits in Final Fantasy VIII where there's like undead bosses. There's a boss right near the beginning of the game. You're like on a train, and it's supposed to be like you go like separate a train car, and you're supposed to be getting, I think it's like the president or something, or mayor of town, or some sort of political figure. You're supposed to be like either rescuing or kidnapping, one or the other. And it turns out it's not him. It's a decoy. And the decoy is like this zombie thing. It transforms into the zombie thing. Apparently, if you just cast life on it, it dies straight away because it's like an undead creature. And apparently, it works on this as well. If you fight undead creatures in Final Fantasy, a life spell or Phoenix down kills them instantly.
There's only a few undead creatures though. That, the zombie dragon. The only ones I can think of.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I didn't realise that was a thing in this game where you could instant kill it. So there you go. Nanaki was bad-mouthing his dad, thinking that he was a coward and he ran away, but he didn't run away. He actually went to the back of a canyon and made sure that nobody got through and saved everyone. Why Bugenhagen didn't tell him that ages ago, I don't know. Why was it a secret? It's like, oh, he hates his dad. I won't tell him till he's older that his dad was actually a hero. Why? Why did you keep that?
Yeah, now you can't tell your dad.
It's like you just spent all of that time hating on your dad, and there's no need to. Yeah, they made me promise to keep the cave shut, and yeah, they asked me to seal it myself, not tell a soul, but not to tell a soul about the cave, and that it's sealed. You could have told them that he fought off the warriors.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I suppose that's the explanation, though, isn't it? The thing is, though, it's not like Nanaki's been banging on about his parents much until this section of the game, anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like he'd been going on about it before we got here.
He's like, yeah, shut up, Nanaki, God.
Gets to this point, he's like, oh yeah, my dad was a coward. No, he wasn't. Oh, really? That's nice. The end.
I don't believe you.
What an interesting backstory.
You. Yeah.
So it's just a whole big section on the backstory of Nanaki. He's kind of a cool character, I think. Nanaki, what do you think? Do you like him as a character? Do you like using him much?
I don't particularly like using him in like battles, but I like his story. So I find like the stories and the battles are completely separate to me. Like I like a character for the story, but in battles I will never use them. Yeah. Like Nanaki or some ways Yuffie a little bit, just with her Wutai story. Cool.
Yeah, Wutai's story's pretty cool, but then she's not very good as a character either, is she? So yeah, I think he adds like a bit of a dynamic to the team because like most of them just normal people. Then you got like like this weird dog. Cat thing.
Yeah, who's like more in it just to save the planet rather than.
It is interesting to have like another species team, and then you get the big stupid Mog cat toy thing. Freaking Kate Sith Reeve.
For my sake, as I'm scratching that.
Grandpa.
I take it that's not his actual grandpa.
It's a bit racist, isn't it?
What? How is that racist?
I don't know, you accused me of being racist when we realised that Marlene wasn't Donald's daughter. If we realised that Nanaki is not Bugenhagen's grandchild, it's just as racist. Or speciesist. Yeah. Anyway, that's political correctness gone mad.
What is he? I mean, he calls him grandpa, but I assume
no,
it's just a name.
He's probably just adopted him, isn't he? All his parents are obviously like the dog cat things as well, whatever the race they are.
So you know that was racist, calling them dog cat things instead of their actual race.
Oh, I don't know whether they're racist. They asked him at the beginning, oh, what are you? And he said, I am what you see before me.
True.
You never actually get told what species he is. So yeah, I don't think it's obviously not his biological granddad. It's like his adopted granddad, I guess.
Unless someone found like a human mini spell and just used it on him to turn him into a human.
Oh, well, like Toad, but human.
Yeah.
Person! I cast person on you.
I cast person on you.
Oh. I'm sure they would have mentioned that. It's funny you should say that, actually. In Final Fantasy IX, Regent Cid, who is the Cid of the game, you meet him, and originally when you see him, he's a frog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because somebody's cast Toad on him, and he's like still trying to rule the city, but he's a frog. And I think you have to go off and get the frog spell and come back, and then turn him back into a person.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
It's part of the game. It's quite funny. I tell you, one of them I really didn't get into was Final Fantasy XII. It was the last one on the PlayStation 2 before it went on to the next gen. And it had the Gambit system, and in that you basically set up like logic gates, like if this happens, do this. And he basically is like, if a character is below this percentage of health, cast Cure. If someone's unconscious, cast Life. And you put things in priorities. And like if something's weak against fire, cast Fire. And the game basically you set it up in like logical steps. Obviously, if someone dies, you heal them. If someone's weak, you cure them. If something's weak against an element, you cast that element. And then all the kind of things you would normally sensibly choose in a game. and then it just does it automatically. So you end up just walking around with like you could do it with one hand with your finger on the analog stick, and it just walks around.
Oh, really?
It doesn't go into a battle screen. It just you see things live and it just happen. It doesn't go into a separate screen. And at first I was like, oh, this is really cool. You know, you just walk around, you can walk straight at things and hit them. And then I was like, oh, I'm not really playing at all. The game's doing it for me. I've just set up how I would sensibly play the game, and everything else is done automatically. I was like, oh, this is really lame. And the levelling up system was bad. The main character was just really not a likeable character at all. It's this kid who wants to be a pirate, a sky pirate, and he meets up with an existing sky pirate and then just follows him around. And in the meantime, there's a like a civil war going on between and then one of the characters is like the princess or would-be queen of the empire that was overthrown at the beginning, like before the game started. And like the world of the game is quite interesting to begin with. Like when you're walking around the town and stuff, you think, oh, you know, there's really cool characters. There's loads of like different races of characters and stuff everywhere, and like different
like sky
creatures.
Yeah,
no, there's some really. The world of the game is very interesting. It's like, have you ever played The Last Remnant? Or seen that before?
Yes, I've seen it.
It looks very similar to that. So you have like airships, and you have like different monsters and stuff, and you go to like the marketplace, and there's always like different characters in the marketplace selling different things, loads of different shops, and it's a nice area to walk around and explore. And there's like desert sands and things like that. But then the characters are just unlikable. I think that's the problem. The battle system wasn't very good, and the characters weren't very likeable. So I just didn't care enough about what happened to the characters to keep playing.
Yeah.
I think I got right near the end, and I was like, I can't be bothered to play anymore. I think I watched the ending FMV sequence on YouTube to find out how it ended. So I really can't bother to play this anymore. It's so boring.
No. I suppose you could.
I think what you could do is it's basically what they tried to. That was the first attempt at the paradigm system that 13 had. Like 13 did it properly because you had all the preset paradigms of what you would do, but then you would change your fighting style mid-fight. Then that mixed up, so you'd be like, okay, we're going to be offensive. Oh, we're going to have magic and attack. Oh, we're going to be defensive, all curing. Or maybe we'll have one healer, 2 attackers, and you were just changing your tactics constantly. But you were still kind of in control in a way, and you could like choose what tactics to use mid-flight. But with the gambit system, it could be a case of put up all your tactics, and then just that was it. You'd set up, then it was done, and it wouldn't be unless you learnt some new tactics you could then add to it and remove from it and change it.
So essentially, could you just look up all the like statements you put in and just put all them in for the most of the game, and you'll be set?
No, I think some of them you don't get. They're like items type thing. You have to collect them. So things like if someone is below a certain percentage of health, that's the thing you have to acquire. And you can interrupt it, so you can go in and go to items and just do stuff yourself. But after that's why at the beginning of the game it was quite good. I mean, after a certain point, I had like bring back to life people that are dead, cure people that are weak. Otherwise, do like powerful spells to weak creatures. And like once it was all set up to what I would normally do in a battle, it was just a case of walking around. It did it for me. I was like, oh, this is actually really dull now.
Yeah.
So maybe I would have given the game a bit more time if I'd liked the characters a bit more or something. But I just was never really interested. But I think maybe 7 and 10 are my 2 favourites. Like kind of 8 and 9 I'd say I'll put on par as well. Like 8 and 9 are okay. The worst thing about 9 actually was the limit breaks.
Oh, really?
Limit breaks are awful on 9. In 9 they took ages to build up, like a lot longer than they're doing this. Like you would probably maybe for each character you'd probably get like 8 limit breaks throughout the entire game.
What?
And yeah, like, I mean maybe that's an exaggeration, but it was awful. And basically when you got a limit break you go into trance, and you would be in trance mode for the rest of the fight. So if you went into trance during a boss fight, that would be really useful. But unlike in this, you get a limit break and you choose when to launch it. When you reach trance mode, it would just happen automatically. So you'd be on your way to go fight a big boss. You'd get a random encounter with something you can kill in one hit. It would run up to you and hit you. You go, oh, trance mode! And you transform into trance mode, and then the next person would just go, oh, hit, dead. And you wouldn't even get to see what the move looked like because one of the other party members had killed it.
No.
And then the transfer would be back to the beginning again, and it would take absolutely ages for it to be built up again. I think there's some characters in that game I never saw what their trance move was like, because at the only times I've ever gone to trance mode, someone else killed the creature before. So I'd already like lined up, so like attack, creature hits you, you go into trance. Then the first attack you put in gets done, they die, and then that's the end of the battle. And your trance is done. So if you could save your trance and use it when you wanted to, and just save it up for boss fights, then great, but no, you can do that.
Was there items like hypers and stuff like that? to help?
Presumably, so I only really played through it once,
Okay.
and I don't really remember that. But yeah, that part of it I hated. Other stuff in it was good. They had a good learning system. You could, I think, you'd get so many slots of things you could try and learn. So, say for example, you wanted to learn fire, you would put a learning stone in the fire command, or you get like scrolls and stuff, whatever. And then while you had the item equipped with fire, you could use the fire spell. And over time, you would acquire like knowledge on fire, and eventually it would say you've learnt fire, and then you would have fire permanently on your ability list, and you could then move the learning stone onto a different ability and start learning that.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like as soon as you put the learning stone into it, you can use it, but you use it up until the point where you commit it to memory, and you no longer need the learning stone to have it, and then you learn something else,
That's awesome.
and you can move it around. So that was really cool, because then you'd have like a fire scroll, you'd learn fire with one character, and then you'd give the fire scroll to someone else, and they'd start learning fire. And then eventually everyone would have everything.
Would the spells level up?
They'd be like, well, they're different scrolls. You get fire, fire 2, fire 3.
Okay.
Well, I think it's fire, fireara, fireagra, things like that, and like lightning ogre, things like that.
Lightning, okay.
And you know these guys here, the people in the capes. I've got a feeling they're basically what in Advent Children, what like Kadaj and his gang are.
Yeah.
They're basically like that, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But they all seem crazy.
Yeah, I think they're all kind of like failed experiments, aren't they? Yeah, as you come back to the piano at a later point in the game to get Ares' ultimate limit break.
There's one in here. Cool.
Yeah, he's hiding. Check out our limit break guide if you like as well. On the Platinum Fist, that's for Ares.
Yeah.
Check out the limit break guide on our channel as well, and we'll show you how to get all the different limit breaks. One of which revolves around that piano.
Dun dun dun.
And there's some people picking up these videos like midway through, or just think that we're getting the names wrong. So that's not a weapon for Ares, that's a weapon for Tifa. It's like, yes, we swapped the names around just to confuse people. Why are they calling him Zack?
And it's still confusing me.
I think it's because I keep referring back to their original names every now and then.
Yeah,
It makes it so confusing.
Is that on purpose?
Why? No. Yeah, maybe it wasn't such a good idea after all. I just thought it'd be fun. The thing is, every time I played through the game, I never used to rename people. I think I played through with my old housemate when I was at uni. We played through, and we renamed everyone. I can't remember what we call people now. I think Cloud was called Kaneda, from like Kaneda and Akira.
Okay.
In fact, I think Vincent was called Akira. Barrett was called Forrest, named after Forrest Jackson, which was a character we included in one of our film we made.
Right.
That's a whole other story. We just called him Forrest Jackson. I can't remember what we called the girls. I think we called Red 13 Scar.
Right.
Or Simba. I think we called him Scar. And I know we called Kate Sith Silent Bob. But I can't remember what some of the other characters were. But that's quite fun. There's one playthrough, I think Sarah was going to play it, and she only played the first section of the game and then didn't really get into it. But she renamed the characters after people from Firefly. I think I used some footage for that when I was doing you see my Tim's Top 5 video?
Which one?
It's a video I did about my top 5 favourite games.
Ah, yes.
And Final Fantasy VII is number 1. And in the footage of that, I used the existing save file that she was using at the time. And you can see Barrett's called Jane, and I think Zack's called Mal, and then Cloud's called Mal, and then Tifa's called Inara or something. It's got to be named after people from Serenity and Firefly. Okay, so this bit, I definitely recommend doing this. It's really good. You get each thing is a clue to where you find the numbers you need of going up and down on the safe to open the safe. Now this area is actually really hard for monsters because you get the creatures which use Confuse and Mirror, and like they're not powerful creatures by any means, and they're not difficult to beat, but they can screw you over if you get things like Confusion and you hit your party members and then you hit yourself. It's quite easy to accidentally die, so just be careful in this area. Use any defensive equipment you've got, and make sure you've got enough items to cure certain status elements. So basically, each part of the dial thing, like dial 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth one is hidden. So it's right 97. So basically, you go, it'll be like left or right, and you go left or right by that amount, and you'll be able to figure out what the numbers are, and then go directly to those numbers. We'll show you at the end of this anyway. So let's go looking for numbers.
So is right 97 our first one?
No, right 97 is the fourth one because it's 4 numbers.
Okay.
And it's dial 1, 2, 3, 4 had different clues. So this is one. Received enemy launcher, and I think something's written on the back of the lid. 1 is right 36. Yeah, so dial 1's right 30. I think the clue's something like in the room with the most air or something, and that's kind of like the greenhouse type room with all the plants. I think one of them says like the room with ivory teeth.
Yeah, ivory and like rays or something.
Yeah, and that's talking about the piano. So you go in here and you find the piano, and then it says, "Oh, the song's scratched." You can play the piano for a bit if you like. Blim, 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 blim. Obviously spent some time reading how to play the piano. So let's do this properly. No. We played one note. I think we're trying to get the item. Obviously, this is just where you play the piano, not where you get the clue. What's that click noise? That's the worst piano player ever. Stop playing the piano! There's work to do. Damn it.
But not be shiny.
There we go. There's the clue. Something's on the floor. 2, left 10. So you might be wanting to do this with like a notepad and pen. Or is that too retro? You might want to be doing this with a smartphone or tablet.
No, notepad and pen.
Well, you can't go wrong with a notepad
You
and
have
pen.
someone fly in by pigeon, a notepad and a quill and ink.
Yeah, with your quill and your ink, jot down these numbers. Right, now I think there's a bit where there's a squeaky floorboard. If you read the clue, it does tell you how... There's a squeaky floorboard. You're supposed to go... Oh, that's just there.
Yeah.
There's a bit, I think, that tells you like how to find the squeaky floorboard, one of the clues. Right. It's like up so many steps, left so many steps, down so many steps. And then there's a squeaky floorboard, but it's just, you've seen there, that's where the squeaky floorboard is, you just find it. So then you have all your clues, and you can go different directions, so it's right 37, left 19, and so on, and go to the different numbers. So once you've worked out what the different numbers are, open up the safe. And then there'll be a boss battle and item. So first number 36.
If you don't
10. Yeah, if you go past the number as well, it fails, which is why we're slowing down at the end there. So if we went accidentally to 60, it would have just failed.
Oh.
So you can't go past the number and then 97. Success. And there is some really good summon. Ooh. Odin. Big fan of Odin. And then there's also a key in there. Key to basement. Key item.
Isn't there also a boss when you open that?
There is a boss battle, yes. You'll see that in our boss battle playthrough. So we cut out all the boss fights and monsters in this playthrough, just because we wanted to observe the story of Final Fantasy VII and make social commentary over the things that happen in it.
Instead of, oh no, it's like 50 minutes of us fighting a gopher.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of Final Fantasy VII playthroughs, and yes, there is a place for the random encounters when you're playing through the game, but when you're going for an area like that section of getting all the clues for the safe code would have taken absolutely ages, because you would have kept on fighting like the guy that's swinging on the pendulum,
the giant pendulum
the little pumpkin things, and it would just take so long to get through. But we just want to get straight to the point. This is how you get Vincent. I don't think Vincent is as difficult to get as Yuffie in terms of the conversation. Because like when we first picked up Yuffie or Jessie,
we had to choose.
You have to, you have to give certain answers to her questions and stuff. Otherwise, she runs away. I'm pretty sure with Vincent, he will come with you anyway. But I always try and be like upfront with him with stuff. there's certain answers you can either be vague or you can just tell him straight what's going on, and he's more likely. So there you go. Don't say a thing or talk about Sephiroth. We chose to talk about Sephiroth and just tell him what's going on. What do we end up calling Vincent? If we renamed him, do we call him Sid?
I think we call him Sid.
Yeah, because we called Sid Cloud, and we called Vincent Sid.
Did we call him Cloud?
Yeah, no, I think we called Sid Cloud, and then we called Vincent Sid because we decided there had to be someone called Sid.
Yeah.
There's got to be someone called Sid. Oh, this is quite cool. It shows like Dims, he moves his arm a bit, and that's meant to show the passage of time, and he's just told Vincent everything that's happened up until now. He knows he was created 5 years ago. He knows about the Genova Project. Yep, that summarised the story we just told. Now it's your turn. What did you do? Ah, cop out. Well, you said you'd tell us your story if we told you ours. Have you ever seen the Dirge of Cerberus game?
No.
I've only ever seen the cover art. I've not seen any in-game footage or anything.
Oh.
I've seen it in shops. It still goes for quite a lot actually, but apparently it's just not very good. Like it's got really bad reviews. Everyone I've asked about it said it's rubbish. But I wouldn't mind playing it and deciding for myself. But I think it takes place between Final Fantasy VII and the film Advent Children.
Oh.
So in chronological order, it basically go Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, and then Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Okay.
Is the chronological order of all the games and films and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the cutscenes from Crisis Core?
I haven't, no. You only showed me a couple bits of gameplay.
It's quite a good game, actually. It's a handheld game, so... Oh, damn!
What? He's actually just, like, there.
Uh-oh. Sephiroth's a great villain. I really like him as a villain. There's something that's really ominous about him. It's like you're chasing after him, but then you're kind of like, I hope we don't catch him, because he could just own us.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, damn, yeah. He's a scary man. I think that kind of, the game installs it in you when you do the flashback, and you have a fight with Sephiroth. And
he's like one-shot the dragon.
And it's like, kills a dragon in one hit. You're like, what? I mean, obviously, late by disc 3, we're doing that, but at that point in the game, it's like just after you've left Midgar, your max damage is like 300. And then you're like, he just took off 9,999. What the actual hell?
Ow.
You just thrown some materia at us, you jerk. It's materia.
Now I can fly. Whee.
That's actually very good materia, it's barrier.
Oh. I'm a destruct.
All destruct is barrier, M barrier, and then D barrier.
Okay.
I think. I'm sure that's right. It's called destruct, but it does all the different barrier spells.
It's called destruct, but really what it does is it gives you a shield.
I'm worried now that I've got that wrong. I'm sure that's right, because I remember getting barrier at that point in the game. Maybe I'm wrong. Post some comments and let us know if that destruct magic is actually barrier or not. I'm sure because it starts with like D barrier and you like destroy other people's barriers. I think it's one of the ones we didn't really use in our playthrough because we got all the other skills.
Yeah, Big God does barrier.
Yeah, because Big God does all the barriers and all the and haste. We didn't need it. Like, the first time I played through, my materia setup was often barrier and all, and then haste and all, and things like that. So you can do haste and everyone, but Big God does it for you. Yeah, so if you try to talk to him again beforehand, he keeps telling you to go away. Once you've had the encounter with Sephiroth, you then come back here, talk to him again, and you have another little secret where you talk to him. I think again he decides not to come with you, and then eventually he chases after you. This has actually changed your mind. So don't think, oh no, I've said the wrong thing, he's not following me, and then like reset the game and have to fight missing number again, because that'd be a pain in the arse. The woman who gave birth to Sephiroth, Lucretia. So I think they basically, am I right in thinking they grew a fetus inside Genova, or use Genova cells to inject a fetus into a woman who then gave birth to a normal baby.
The second one.
So they injected Genova cells into the woman.
I believe so.
So she wasn't made pregnant through conventional means. She was given like Genova cells to create a baby. Then she gave birth to a normal baby, and all the other like essentially Sephiroth clones were made in those weird egg things that were in the Mako reactor. They're possibly still there. That's one part of this game I really don't understand. What the hell happened to the weird egg monsters?
Yeah.
In those like capsule things in the Mako reactor. If you go back there later, if you go there present day, they're still there. But it's like you can't look through the window or anything, but you can't interact with them. They're just part of the scenery. It was like, what happened with all the monsters? Surely, like if it's made apparent that Shinra Artist create genetically manufacturing monsters, that no matter how much power they got, everyone's going to like turn on Shinra and stop them.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, it is just a game.
I was just like forgotten about. Like the windows are all like misted up and steamy. They can't just see inside. They can't be bothered.
Unless like the capsules are still there, but the project's finished now. They're not making any more. They're like, we've made enough monsters now. Now we care about the Promised Land. We'll do that.
They just like let monsters run free around them.
Yeah. Where do you think the Promised Land is? Is the Promised Land actually meant to be like where the final area of the game is? Because you kind of go down into the big crater, don't you, and go down into the Earth where you can see like the live stream and stuff. Is that the Promised Land? Never really clarified, is it?
No, I thought the Promised Land was the home for Cetra.
No, that's the City of the Ancients.
Yeah, the City of the Ancients.
That's not the Promised Land, I don't think. Unless it was, because you could argue that Cetra did find the Promised Land after all, and that's where they were before Genova came and killed them all. The calamity from the skies. Let's go and find those weird egg things. You don't actually use the buggy you get. We don't really use that very much. You literally get the buggy to get out of the sand.
Yeah, true.
You drive to Cosmo Canyon. You then drive to Nibelheim over the river, and then that's it. You don't go back to the buggy again off that, do you? You literally go like a few feet across the.
Yeah, I suppose there's no
really
need to.
Well, once you get past this section, you're on the other side. There's the Rocket Town, and then you get the Tiny Bronco.
Oh.
And then that's when you can get to the rivers and lakes. So. There you go.
I see a shiny.
Shiny. It's a good method of breaking up so you don't go too far throughout the game.
Yeah. I suppose games like Zelda and stuff like that do that as well. Like they'll put boulders and stuff in front of caves and places you can't go.
And then later on you'll get a bomb that allows that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the same with Pokemon with like the cut.
Yes, that's true actually, yeah. Pokemon's a good example. Well, did you hear what they did with the new Pokemon game? In the game shops.
Is this the new one that's coming out?
Yeah. No, I think it's one that's out because some guys at work did it. If you go, they went into the game store and they basically said you could download bonus Pokemon from their Wi-Fi. And they went into game with their DS and you just connect to the Wi-Fi in game, and then you can just download an extra shiny Pokemon.
What?
Yeah, it's like a promotion they were doing in game. And if you pre-order the new Pokemon game, you got a Pokeball, which was a DS cartridge holder.
Yeah, I know about that, but I didn't know about you could get Pokemon just by going to their Wi-Fi.
Just go in to get into a game shop.
Yeah.
Connect to the Wi-Fi, download a Pokemon. It's otherwise not in the game.
What?
Yeah.
Surely that can't be right.
No.
Because like people who don't have access to the game, surely would their Pokemon still be in the game?
No, it's not in the game. It's like an extra Pokemon which they made. Which was like
what game made?
I don't know. I don't know if this is true. This is what I was told by people at work, and it seemed reasonable enough to believe. And they showed me the Pokemon they got in my game. Oh yeah, we got this Pokemon in the game. It's one of the legendary Pokemon that.
I'm even more shocked.
Yeah.
What?
Look it up. Okay, and see if it's for reals. I don't know which version of the Pokemon game it is. I think it's one of the newer ones. It's not one that I've got, so I didn't go and get it.
There's X and Y is out soon, thus dating this video.
Yeah, so by the time this video is out, it might even be out.
Yeah, it will be. I think it's out within a week. X and Y.
So what's the current, most recent one?
Black and White 2?
Maybe it's those. I honestly don't know. This isn't an exclusive from me. This is what I've been doing with someone else. So this is not really a very good bit
breaking first-hand Pokemon.
Yeah, but not a very good bit of game jam, isn't there, on my part? I'd say, oh, some guy told me that you could do this thing. It's probably true. You should check it out.
Some guy told me like Rockstar was making this new game.
Oh, some elemental materia.
Oh, and a giant.
Yeah. Oh no, Power Soul. Oh, it's an item. Sorry, I thought that was a materia then. I'm talking nonsense. In this bit, you do need to be careful about the order of the pipes you go down. Because if you go down the wrong ones, you can't go back up again. I think that's it. You need to knock down. Before we knock down the ladder, you need to have knocked down the ladder before you go down to the pipes. Otherwise, you can't get back up again to go down the others. And you want to keep going back up to go back down again to get more items.
Okay.
So, just to make that clear to those watching. Yeah, you should go down this one. And there it goes. There.
Oh.
And all materia.
Yeah, another one.
Don't have enough of that. So. I think most of them, like, to those two, just come out on the platforms. It's a waste of your time if you go there by mistake. So you save the game and fight the Materia Keeper. Ha-ha! Take that! There you go, he's dead. And Counter Materia.
Yeah.
Good.
This is good.
Counter's very good, I like Counter.
I like Counter.
I think there's also like Magic Counter. You do a magic spell instead.
Yes.
I think good combinations at this point then, well, we were talking about added effects and stuff earlier. If you have cover, counter, and then like, I don't know, death or with added effect, you would like, if someone did a physical hit, you would cover, get hit by whatever the attack is, and then because you're the one being hit, you would counter, and you would counter with the added effect of death, for example. So there's lots of fun combinations of materia you can get. Which do cool things.
Would that be you would have to put them on your weapon?
No, I don't think so. You would need. Like no, I think slots. Elemental is. It matters whether it's on your weapon or your armour, whether it's elemental defense or attack. So you can put elemental and ice on your armour, and you have an elemental defense to ice. Okay. Or you can put like lightning and elemental on your weapon, and you have a lightning based attack. With added effect, it doesn't matter. And then like cover and counter are separate moves, but they go well together if you put them together. You don't have to have them linked or anything, or on the same item or weapon.
This is where we went to before, and
yes,
materia collects here. All over takes time. Blah, blah, blah.
That was elemental materia. I knew there's elemental materia in this area. That's how much I played this game. It wasn't the one in the other room. It was in this room. Yeah, because like we were saying in the flashback, you see it being formed, and then 5 years later you're here, and it's there.
I like rock zooming in. Did you see that?
No.
The top right corner, just when we picked up the thing, the animation on the rock looked like it was zooming in. Let's replay value on this video.
Long windy road, and here's the reactor again. I don't think you actually need to go do anything in there, really, do we? We can go in for a snoop, but I don't think there's actually anything.
Just go in for a snoop.
Yeah, should we go and check it out?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything you actually need to do in there.
No, check out the reactor. It's probably me playing.
I don't think we did. I honestly can't remember if we did or not. I don't think we did. We go around the outside. No. There's nothing to do in there. You get to where Genova was, and it's just a door you can't open.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Because this can't brought us back to here. What?
No, check out the reactor.
No, there's nothing in there. It's just these weird. It's empty eggs, empty metal eggs. Nothing of interest. Now I'm just completely lost. Just confused. Okay, we end up going there again. I think we've gone down around a different way because there's items that we picked up. And there you go, yeah, we went that round the other way to get the items. Oh. And then you come back out this way. You don't actually need to go in the reactor again, there's nothing in there. So you just come out the other side of the caves. And we should see in a minute. Horizon.
The building is up.
Rocket Town!
Yeah. However, if you do go back and visit the actor, I'm sure if you connect to their Wi-Fi, you can download an extra item from the game.
That might be the case. That may or may not be true. What's that? Whoa.
Oh.
I don't know, what was that?
Rocket Town's defense system.
Again, one of the interesting little towns which has got like 5 buildings, and that's a town.
Yeah, so
there's
no like a village with a rocket.
Yeah, there's no. Is there a grocery store? There's no schools, no hospitals.
True. Is that a bar?
I think there's a weapon shop, and there's a inn, I guess. That's why I really like the much bigger games of RPGs you get now. Like if you go around Cyrodiil and Oblivion, and there's just like the alchemist place. You get like the blacksmiths. You go to like the taverns, and then there's like loads of like just normal houses, and you can break in and steal from them and stuff. But they're just normal houses. And then you get like the inns and the bars and things like that. That's like the towns actually feel like they could be proper towns. They'll have like a church or something as well. There'll be like a big church in the middle of town, and then loads of surrounding buildings and stuff and shops and different types. Not every town has got the same types of shops. Like some of the towns had like newspaper type things, like journalists and stuff.
Okay.
And then you get like the different guilds, like you get a mages guild and a fighters guild and things like that. And then,
yeah, I remember like the shadow guilds.
Yeah, that was just really fun to just go around and explore. More so, I think, in Oblivion than in Skyrim, because in Skyrim it's a lot more minimal because it's kind of out in the snowfields and stuff, isn't it? So it's kind of like people surviving on quite limited resources and stuff.
Which you then go steal.
Yeah, you don't have to steal. I don't tend to steal in Skyrim. I normally play as lawful good.
Well, true. I started off my Skyrim playing like as a really good person, like helping out whenever I could, doing all the side missions and stuff. Then it got to a point where I was like, I want to see what stuff I could like get away with. So I'll save it before that. I choose to do any of that. Then I'll just go on a giant killing spree.
Yeah.
End up fighting off guards and just running up a mountain, just going, don't kill me anymore. And they'll still chase me and kill me. And I go back to the town like the next day, and everyone hates me. No one will talk to me. No one will give me quests. I can't use the blacksmith or do anything like that. And I was completely fucked over myself at that time.
I hate it when like you do stuff and then accidentally auto saves because you leave the area. And it's no. My last actual other save was from like way before, like shit.
Yeah.
Or things like you're frequently saving. Like you're in the middle of a really hard fight and you save it without realising that you're literally just about to be killed. And then you die, it's like, reload last save? Sure. Dead. Reload last save? Yeah, dead. It's like, no!
I saved over every single save.
So that's why normally whenever I save games like that, I'll have like 3 or 4 save slots, and I'll rotate, and I'll go back and reload the oldest one.
Yeah.
Or like save over the previous save file. I think the first game I had to do that on was when I played the first Red Faction game. The first Red Faction game on the PS2. It was on PlayStation 2, and it was it was a continual game. There was no like level ending or anything. The game just carried on. There was no like points where it would stop with a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. You would save it at any time, and I was concerned that I might get stuck in a situation where I needed a lot more ammo, and I didn't have the ammo to hand, and I just couldn't get out of the area. So what I might do is I'll have a rotating save file. So if I like really mess up and I can't get out of the situation I'm then in, I can go back to one of my older saves, and then I kind of took that idea forward into games like Oblivion and Skyrim and Fallout.
Ah, true, yeah, Fallout. Was Red Faction 1... Did you have like a gun that mined or something?
Yeah, it was the first game which had like destroyable scenery, pretty much. I don't know if that's true. It's kind of how it was advertised. It was the first time you've ever been able to blow up a door.
Yeah.
But to a degree, yeah, there were bits in it where you could just like, if you had a rocket launcher or grenades, you could just like blow apart bits of buildings and get through that way.
So I remember mining for like a little bit, or like you started off like underground, you had to kind of get your way up to the surface or something. I just remember mining loads, and I got down like so far down, I had no idea how to get back up, and I'd like run out of this like mining laser or whatever it was, and I just couldn't do anything, and that was my experience of Red Faction 1. It's like digging a massive hole, and not being able to get out. So
if you'd had a different save file, you could have gone back.
To where? They get the exact beginning. I'd be like, oh wait, this looks familiar. Let's just drill. Oh fuck.
So this is literally at the beginning of the game. You did this.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh. It actually had a really good multiplayer, but it was kind of like you needed like a. I don't think could you do multi-tap on it.
Was it LAN?
I used to do like just one-on-one matches with people, but I can remember the multiplayer being really good. But it could have been so much better if it was like all online multiplayer. I quite liked it. It's weird because I've liked Red Faction Guerrilla was so different because it's third person, isn't it? And that's all kind of like GTA. You get around, go into cars and drive around, and you get different missions on your map and go to different ones. Very different game than the original Red Faction. Same sort of storyline and stuff, but the actual game itself was very different.
Was that the one where I remember you telling me once before that you had like two different missions. One was like going into a building and like destroying it.
Yeah.
And one was going into a building and...
there was like there is loads of different missions, but they all kind of revolve around destroying stuff. Because that's kind of the main feature of the game. It's kind of like destroying this building will weaken their defences.
It's like Guerrilla.
Okay, yeah. And you go there, destroy the building. It's like, oh, destroying this building will improve our surveillance of the area. Okay, sure. Destroy the building. So, oh, destroy this building will just really piss them off. Oh, okay. Destroy that building. It's like that's pretty much the whole game. It's like, oh, you can destroy this. It's like, fine. Just tell me what I shouldn't destroy, and I'll just wreck everything else. It's quite fun though. There's some good moments in it. So this is where we go to meet another character.
Guys, there's only me.
No, the other people have merged into us.
Oh.
We're in effect 3 people at the moment.
So at this point, can the captain look at us and he will see like 3 people? Like
I don't know.
Like drunk vision.
I don't know how it works. I mean, if you think about it that way, when they're like climbing the ladders and stuff, or going down. Okay, answer me this then, right?
Yeah.
There's the. Do you remember when you're going through, like underneath the subway, to get to the second Mako route, when you jump off the train, and then you get to a point where there's a wall of lasers and you can't get through.
Yep.
And then you get like a little vent, and it says you can either look down the vent, or climb down, or don't go down at all, and you have to climb down. Dine, Ares, and Zack merge into Zack. And then Zack can fit down the gap. How did Dine actually get through? Because Dine was too big to fit through the gap. So not all 3 of them didn't go through individually. The other ones merged into him and then went down. What happened there?
I assume it was a Kirby situation where Zack would open his mouth like gigantically, inhale both Dine and Ares, and still be the shape, but just have them inside him.
I didn't see that in Adventure. It's weird that we say that, but in Final Fantasy VIII, the characters would just run behind you. So if you were 3 people in your party, you would run around, and 2 people would just be running around after you, and it didn't look very good. I didn't like it. Yeah. So we say like, oh yeah, it's silly that you merge into him, and in the sense it is, but it did look bad with people running behind you in the trail. I personally prefer it didn't like in 10 and 13. Where you only had the party apart from each other in full like cutscenes. Yeah, and then after the cutscene finished, you'd then be on your own. You would have this like fusion section. But I suppose in this, all the cutscenes are normally like in game. It's just like conversations in game. That's probably actually the only drawback in 10 is that because it's all cutscenes, rather than like bits where you're just sat tapping X talking to people around. There's a lot of you walk up some steps. At the top of the steps there's a cutscene. You then walk down a path. At the end of the path there's a cutscene, and it's just broken up by loads of cutscenes. And I don't think I realised this until like my 3rd playthrough, when like I didn't really feel I needed to watch the cutscenes anymore because I'd played through the game and knew the story pretty well. I knew it was happening.
Did you skip the cutscenes?
I think so. Yeah, you could.
Oh, good.
I mean, literally, I was like, wow, there's a lot of cutscenes in this game. I was literally walking down the path cutscene, over the hill cutscene, round the corner, there's another cutscene. And it's like, when you're playing it the first time round, you don't really notice it that much because you're watching the cutscene, you want to see what's happening, you want to know what's going on in the game. So it doesn't really bother you. You're like, oh, okay, another cutscene.
Yeah.
I mean, like in this, a lot of this is just walking around talking to people, but it doesn't feel like a cutscene because you're kind of in control.
Yeah, because it's all in game as well. It's not done like with amazing Final Fantasy graphics.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
I don't know, what would you prefer? Do you prefer stuff when it's just a cutscene, or do you prefer stuff when it's like in-game cutscenes?
See,
it's getting more and more seamless now. If you see some of the...
Oh yeah, definitely.
What, the trailer for the new Metal Gear Solid game?
Oh, on the next gen?
Yeah, on the Xbox One. The trailer for that, there's a bit where it's a cutscene, and then I think it was just like something about the camera angle that made it oh, that's actually in game now.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, I thought that was still a cutscene. It's so the transition from that to from the cutscene to in game was just so smooth. It's like I didn't even realise. There's something about the camera angle following the horse. Like, oh, that's the actual game now. That's not a cutscene.
Yeah.
Crap. Or Rise, the the Roman version of God of War. Yeah. I thought that was an intro F&V sequence on the beach, and then all of a sudden there's buttons appearing on the screen. Like so, I was like the quick time event. It's like, oh, button bash B, button bash A. It's like, oh, that's somebody playing it. Jeez, that's really good. So,
I mean, even in the last Metal Gear Solid game they brought out for the PS3, the graphics in that were like cinematics, pretty much. They even went from cinematic to you playing, but you didn't have a HUD. So you didn't notice you were playing until the character wasn't doing anything for like 5 minutes.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah. I think that game has the longest cutscene in it for like an hour. I think it's like an hour 50 minutes or something like that. Jeez. Just for one cutscene.
There's one bit in Metal Gear Solid 3 on the PlayStation 2 when you have to climb up a ladder, and the time it takes you to climb up the ladder, they play the intro song. Do you remember that? That was really cool. Well, here's the backstory of Cloud and why he is a miserable git.
No buts.
You can tell this is a flashback due to the sepia tone.
Yeah, they don't sepia tone the text.
It's true. They sepia tone the rest of it. Obviously a flashback. What was it they're actually going into outer space for? Is it just to see if they can?
I think so, yeah.
Is he going to be going on his own?
No, they're in the ship as well.
Really? It looks like they were seeing him off.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be on his own. So go and fly a ship on your own. You need to have a crew of like loads of people, surely. A lot of swearing at this point in the game. All senses. I mean, Sid, Cloud's one person is kind of like, well, it doesn't really make a lot of sense as to why he joined your party. You kind of get the impression that it's like, oh, I've got nothing better to do. I'll just stick with you guys. But it's like, it's not like you really befriend him much, he just kind of like...
Yeah.
He's a bit of an eccentric character, I think. I think that's the point, he's just meant to be a bit eccentric.
She didn't really care about dying. She just wanted the mission to be a success.
Right. If he just listened to her in the first place, She was going to do it anyway. I don't know, who do you think in that situation is really in the wrong? Because if she was going to go in there and die, she could have made that a bit clearer in the first place. Like, look, I put her foot down and said, no, I'm checking this engine, whether you like it or not, you're going to have to wait until I'm done. But at the same time, he didn't listen to her, and then she ended up risking her life, or sacrificing herself to check the engine, just because he wouldn't listen. So it kind of, he comes off being the arsehole that nearly got her killed because he wouldn't wait around for her to check the engine. But at the same time, she kind of put herself in that situation.
Yeah, I feel there's like a lot of kind of interest between those two.
I think there is, but it's like when he's just like, make some goddamn tea, woman, and he's like really horrible to us, isn't he?
I think he's like been banging on about his dreams and everything like that for like, I assume years.
Yeah.
And she just wants to make them happen for him.
Yeah.
So even
I think that she definitely loves him, but I don't think he really loves her. Well, he kind of blames her for this situation.
Do you know Michael Jackson? And stops. Why doesn't it not fall over?
It just didn't. It didn't fall over. It didn't go that far. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, actually, because it's gone over enough for it to plummet, but it hasn't.
Like, was it still stuck on a giant bungee cord?
And then they never launched. So she basically feels responsible for him. I think actually there's one bit
I mean, they live
where
in the same
someone,
house,
there's someone refers to, says, about her being his wife, and he goes, "What? No, the thought of marrying her gives me the chills," or something.
And then she's like, blush.
Yeah, but it is obviously mentioned, so I think it's implied that they are meant to be like a couple. But he obviously goes off travelling the world for however many months, and never goes back. Don't think he even tells her that he's alright. We know they exist in a world where there are phones, because you have the PHS system.
Yes.
Could have phoned her, said, by the way, I've gone off with Avalanche.
Yeah, I'm now flying a giant...
Again, they don't introduce themselves as Avalanche. Don't forget the lard. What?
In tea?
Lard in tea.
Palmer, you fat bastard. I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
Yeah.
We're just going to let him stay in their house.
Yeah, it's only Palmer. What's he going to do? This is the thing as well. Why would Shinra, who've got their own sort of air force, want to borrow a pilot's plane? They got so much resource. They've already got the High Wind and the Kalinka. Why come and borrow the tiny Bronco? Makes no sense.
Yeah, why would they even want one plane?
It's a tiny plane as well. What? How many people are supposed to get in it?
Two?
Like two people? Yeah, two-man crew. Because I think when you fly away, there's people like sat on the wing.
Yeah.
It's not even meant to be like more than two. So why would Rufus want that? It's like the bit before. They go to Junior Harbour on the big boat thing. Why do they go by boat? Why don't they just get in the High Wind? Once you're in the High Wind, you fly about all over the place. That's the thing as well, it's like Zack just decides they're going to steal the tiny Bronco instead. It's not like they've asked Cloud if they can have it.
No.
And yet, Cloud's happy to give it to them.
This is ours.
This is a bit just after Palmer gets hit by a truck. Best ending to a boss fight ever. See,
What you said
boss
it
fight
wouldn't
really
stop,
played
and he's just like, oh, fine, go on. What was she talking about?
No idea. I missed that. There you go.
He's like, people stood on How are you still on there?
Yeah, who's flying it? There's no one in the cockpit. Look, they're all just hanging onto the wing.
Oh yeah!
What the hell are they doing? This is so dangerous. And there's Sid.
We'll be taking this plane.
Or Cloud, as you called him. Yeah.
He is running so fast.
His arm comes in. Oh, they've hit it. Oh no.
Just keep going, just keep going.
But how are they flying that? They're all just hanging onto the wing. No one's in the cockpit. It's a one-man cockpit, if anything.
Yeah. I think they just started it and then just jumped on and didn't realise they could just sit inside.
That whole sequence made no sense at all. Into the water. So this bit you can use the tiny Bronco effectively as a boat, not a plane. But it gets you around to the next island, which is handy.
Yeah.
They're all just like sailing. No one was in the cockpit. And this is it. He's just like, yeah, do what we want. Don't care anymore. I suppose, like, his dreams of going into space, he knows now that Shinra have just shut down the whole thing. They're not going to do it.
And he wants to take his dreams away from the sky as well.
Hey, here, how about your wife? How was yours? Like, wife? Yeah. So Zack thought he was his wife. Yeah, what the hell, sign me up. That's it, that's his motivation for joining the team. Why not? You know, you've got people who are trying to find out about their past, trying to save the planet, finding out, you know, what their connection to the Promised Land is and etc. And then, yeah, I've got nothing better to do. Not the best motivation. Okay, so they're now off to the Temple of the Ancients to find out more.
Dun, dun, dun.
Follow yourself there. So be sure to join us in the next episode of Insert Coin. I'm Tim.
And I have been Chris.
And we hope to see you in the next episode.
Goodbye! Temple of the Ancients.